name is Janie Wunderlich. My family started Graham's Chocolates in 1987, my mom and dad, and I was 3 years old. So I'd say I grew up in the chocolate industry. My dad was Willy Wonka. He was super creative and always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So he always wanted to start his own family business. I think he just loved that idea and he loved chocolate. So we started making candies in 1987. Well, before that, obviously, before we opened, but him and my mom ran that shop in downtown Geneva at that time, and then we expanded to a larger location, just kitty corner from there. A beautiful store where our shop is currently an old building from 1868. And then we expanded to a second location in Wheaton, Illinois, and then we have a third location, a coffee house, a totally different business, 318 Coffee House. So those are our three businesses. How I got into the business is, I grew up in it and I loved it. And I started scooping ice cream when I was probably 9 at festivals. But then I really joined the ranks when I was in high school and middle school, working behind the counter, helping customers, scooping ice cream, or slinging ice cream, as we would say. We make homemade ice cream at our shop as well as chocolates. And so I just fell in love with it. And then after I went to high school, I went to Columbia College downtown, and my major was in graphic design. So I graduated with a degree in advertising art direction. And then I became a pastry chef and a graphic designer at Graham's when we opened our coffee house. So I was the only baker for a long time. And then I would do branding in the afternoon. So you can see my touches all over the shop. I mean, I've redesigned the logos, all logos, and the boxes. Everything from the website to swag, t-shirts, cups, all those kinds of things. We even have an advent calendar, a chocolate advent calendar, which is absolutely beautiful. And that's something that I've also designed. And it's just a really fun business to be part of. I've been working full time with my parents, with both my parents and especially my dad since I graduated college in 2006. So almost 20 years, it seems like, or 18 years. And so when he passed away suddenly in 2021, that was really tough for us. And, I always say he was Willy Wonka, but he was always, I just think he never thought he was going to pass away. And so that's tough. That transition is really tough. So, I started, figuring out the things the holes that I needed to fill in. And so one of those holes especially was kind of wrapping my fingers around the numbers. I'm not a business major. I know how to run the business, but I don't know how to, run the business. And so, that's where I got Lynn involved. And how I met Lynn was through a cousin. One of my cousins recommended him. I guess Lynn had actually interviewed for him years ago. And my cousin Troy absolutely loved him. So, I'm gaining knowledge. I am learning how to kind of day-to-day run and this business, and then also delegate. That's the hardest part. But it's truly a family business. My mom is semi-retired, so it really does fall on me to be the person that's running this business. And I have 3 small kids, and so life is chaotic. But I'm gaining footing every day. I'm gaining some footing. So I even have my husband now joined us this summer. So I mean, I think he always was going to join us, but this, I think my father's untimely death really sped up that timeline. So I'm just so thankful that we are still able to be a family business and run this the way that my dad wanted, but also can put my own spin on it. That's the best thing about this place, is that kind of personal touch. So we're still making, my dad's recipes. And then I also have an opportunity to be creative. And one of my favorite events that we do is our wine and chocolate tasting, which is our yearly event we've done for about 35 years. And this year, it's one of my favorite events because I can kind of test out new recipes, try new chocolates. And I since my dad passed also, I started adding a theme. So this year's theme was around the world. So I made chocolates and pastries inspired by different continents. So it was really fun to play with that theme. Yeah. And then I think one of the other things that is really special about Grams is, and maybe one of my core memories is the candy cane pull we do every year for the Geneva Christmas Walk, which is such a fun event. It's always the first Friday in December, and it's the only night a year that we close our chocolate shop or close our kitchen, and we make homemade candy canes, and we don't sell them. We hand them all out for free to the public, and it's such a fun event. And I remember as a kid, we used to have these little candy canes that I used to dip in the front window. And I remember probably being about 10 or 12 and having my picture, in the paper. And I think that's probably what spurred me on to, just continue with this business and kind of the love of that. We have amazing specials for Valentine's Day, which is coming up. So if anybody's interested in having, some chocolates or sending some chocolates to a loved one or your mom or your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend, it's a great gift to send somebody, and they're gonna love it. Homemade chocolates from Grams are just absolutely the best. We make the best homemade caramel. We call them scallies, which is our version of a turtle. Homemade marshmallow. There's so many choices on there. Even chocolate covered strawberries if you're local. We dip them fresh every day. So